Thank you, Adrian. So we'll get started. Here's a little bit about me. I am the marketing brand manager at Anytime Collect, which is owned by EW Technologies, as Adrian mentioned. Anytime Collect is an automated accounts receivable software, so we automate the collections process all the way from sending out emails through mass email blasts to allowing you to bill your customers through an online bill pay customer portal. So we know a little bit about collection emails, and we found some things that have worked for our customers, and that's what we're going to share today with you about how we've found that tactics that marketers are using to send out their emails can also be used in the collections emails process. So we're going to start off with subject lines. Subject lines are the first attempt to catch your customer's attention. So if you think back to this morning, when you opened your inbox and you had, maybe 20 or more emails that are in there, you're going through real fast and you're trying to figure out what's actually of importance to you, and you're looking at those subject lines. So marketers have found a way to create catchy subject lines that catch the reader's attention and make them want to open that email. But even before they get to the get into the inbox, you also have to make sure that they get through the spam filters. So email spam filters are getting smarter and smarter. There are specific words that are often used in emails that are spam, and the spam filters are catching these words and they're adding these new words to their filters every day. So I pulled out a couple words that some marketers have found to often trigger those spam filters. You'll see things like money. If you use a $ in your subject lines, if you're telling your customer how much money they owe, you don't want to use $. You don't want to talk about credit or checks or prices, because those will automatically go into the spam filter, and then they're just going to get stuck there and your customer won't even have a chance to see it. So you might be thinking, okay, what now? What words can I even use in my subject line? These are some common examples that our customers have found to work for them. And you are free to, write these down and use these for your subject lines. And as you can see, we have the invoice numbers in there. So this is a little bit of personalization. And if a customer can see that their specific invoice number is used in a subject line, they're a little bit more apt to open that email. Now for personalization, which I had just touched on, marketers have found that using personalized emails and personalized email subject lines can help the customer to open that email. As you see, Statista has found that the open rate for emails with a personalized message was 17.6% compared to 11.4% without using any personalization. So people are getting more skeptical of emails that are being sent out, thinking that they might be spam if it doesn't look like it's directed towards them. So here's a couple ways that we found that you can use personalization in your collection emails. Put the customer's email or their name in the subject line. You'll want to use a greeting at the beginning of the email. So say, "Hi, Susan," or whatever that AP person's name is. Instead of just jumping straight into "you owe me money." Use personal and friendly language. So don't make it sound like a robot sent them an email, especially if you're sending out mass email blasts. Make sure that the email you're sending is relevant to your customer. This also refers to make sure that you're sending the email to the right person. Make sure that you have the right email address, that you're not just sending it to a random email address at the company that you sold your product or your services to. And then give them an easy way to make payment, like a personalized payment portal. As I mentioned, Anytime Collect, we do offer an online bill pay customer portal where each customer of yours would get a personalized payment link, and from that email it will take them directly into their own portal that has their company name on it, has all of their documents such as statements and open invoices and payment history in it. And so using those types of personalized payment portals will get them to take action on the email as opposed to just opening it and moving on. So personalizing emails, it takes a lot of time. You probably don't have a lot of time in the day to sit down and be writing out the first name or the personalized invoices numbers on each email that you send out. So at Anytime Collect, we have put snippet codes into our collection emails. So when you're sending out a mass email blast to customers, you can actually pull the personalized information into that mass email blast without doing anything other than adding in a snippet code. And I'll show you what those look like on the next screen. So as you can see in red, those are the customer names, the primary contact names, their total aging and total past due. And by simply clicking on one of those drop-down options, it puts the customer's name into the email. And even if you're sending out 2,000 emails to 2,000 different customers, that customer name or the primary contact name just gets pulled from your database of information and inserted into those emails. And as you can see down in our bullet pointed list of information, it's simply just a bracket with contact name, closed bracket, and that's how it shows up on your end before you send the email out. But once the email is released to your customers, their first name or whatever that information is that you had chosen to put in there gets inserted into that area. And a lot of marketers are doing this, and you might notice now on the next email that you receive from someone that might be from a marketing company, you'll see that it'll say hi and your name, but they probably didn't send that personally to you. And you can do the same thing with collection emails. Timing and frequency is also really important. You have to make sure that your customer has the best chance to read the email, and the timing and time of day makes a big difference in that. So pay attention to time zones. If you have customers that are living on the West Coast or working in the West Coast and you're in the East Coast, you're not going to want to send an email at 11 o'clock in the morning because they may not be in the office yet. And then same with vice versa. You don't want to send an email out on the West Coast at 5 o'clock at night because they probably aren't in the office anymore. Consider the time of day. So if you're taking your lunch, or most people take their lunch at noon or 1 o'clock, try not to send an email during that time because they're probably not sitting at their desk checking their inbox. And by the time they get back, their inbox will be flooded with a bunch of different emails they're going to have to go through. Pick a random time during the day, like 3 o'clock or at 11 o'clock in the morning, when they're most likely to not be flooded with emails. And then yours will stand out. And then again, pay attention to days of the week. So it's probably most likely the best time to send it is Monday through Friday. Don't be sending out emails on a Saturday or a Sunday. And in addition, Mondays and Fridays can be a toss-up as well because people like to take vacations on a day before or a day after the weekend. So if you're sending your collection emails on a Monday or Friday, there's a good chance that won't be seen for another 4 or 5 days. Your frequency. How often are you sending your emails? You don't want to send so many emails that your customer starts to feel like they're getting spammed by you and they just start ignoring the things that you're saying. They start ignoring your emails. You don't want to send too little emails that they rarely ever see them in their inbox. So really finding that balance is something that you'll have to test on your own and see what amount of emails works best with your customers. But it's definitely a good practice with your collection emails is to find out what amount of frequency really works for you. And then for your email lists, as it says on this screen, your collection emails are only as good as your customer database. So you want to be checking up and seeing if the emails that you currently have in your database are still good emails. Are you sending them to the right person? Does that person still work there? If you call up your customers every once in a while and just say, hey, I'm sending the email to AP at XYZ company, is that still a good email address to use? Because you don't want your emails to be going out to someone that doesn't even work at the company anymore and no one's checking that inbox. And then that's all we had today for our marketing tactics. We have a lot of more information on our website, anytimecollect.com. We have tons of different videos that go over similar topics like this. We have white papers that talk about templates that you can use to write good collection emails with some more examples that I even showed today on ways to craft your emails that can really get a good response from your customers.
Thank you, Lindsay. I do see a couple questions here. I would like to launch a poll, and I'm going to go ahead and launch that while I'm announcing the questions. Are you interested in learning more? So if you could just take a second to answer this question. As the audience is probably well aware, Anytime Collect is an automation tool for accounts receivable. And so, Lindsay, can you use Anytime Collect for your email collections? And how does that work?
Yes. So in our software, we have a communications tab, and from that communications tab, you can send out emails to different groups of people that you specify within the software. So if you want to send an email out just to the people that have invoices past 30 days due, you can select that group of people and send out your email blast. There's email templates that are available in the software, so all you have to do is pick the email template that you want to send out, and it will automatically send out all those emails to anyone that has invoices past 30 days due. And you can even do that on a timed basis. So if you want it to go out on a specific day of the month so that it's on a rolling basis, you can do that as well.
And we have another question here from Jeffrey. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Can you preview the emails with snippets before sending, especially if sending a batch to like hundreds of emails?
Yes, you can. So we actually advise that you do that, and if you're ever going through the training process with us, we always push that you preview your emails before you generate it, and we have a specific screen that you can do that in where you preview actions before you generate them and send them out to your entire customer base.
And it looks like we have somebody that is on Acumatica Cloud ERP. And do you integrate with Acumatica Cloud ERP?
We can integrate with any software that you can pull data from. We have integrations with tons of different ERPs. We're constantly working on integrations with different ERPs. As long as you have the data for us, we can do it.
And then are you set up for Sage 2018 yet?
I'd have to double check into that, but we do have integrations and we have tons of customers that are using Sage 500, Sage 100, Sage 300. So I'm not positive about Sage 2018. I haven't heard of that, but I can double check if you want to send that question directly to me.
And that will come over to you, Lindsay, so you can follow up with Jeffrey in more detail. But just to cover Sage X3, do you have Sage X3 customers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any more questions, but you have several customers I know that are on QuickBooks, Sage, Dynamics, GP.
Intact. Yeah, we cover a ton of different ERPs, and we're constantly working on new integrations. If I haven't yet come across a customer that has given us an ERP system that we haven't been able to integrate with.
And in the communications tab, can you save templates and then just reuse those templates for different sets of people that you'd be targeting?
Yeah, so you can make as many email templates as you want, and you can create them ahead of time and name the email templates whatever you want. So when you first get set up in the system, we usually help you to create like past due notices, welcome emails, credit app emails, and then you can just push the button and go.
And then you could change the subject line for whatever would be appropriate for that
Correct.
particular batch of emails.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not. Oh, we have another question from Ricky. Thank you, Ricky. Hi. I wanted to know if it is okay to send a payment link with settlement offer.
Um, are you saying that you wanted to like a link to go to like a payment portal?
Maybe. Yes. He just
Okay.
said yes.
Yeah, and our customers do that all the time, and we encourage that. It's a great way to give them an option to pay immediately, so that you don't have to keep tracking them down for payment. We actually have a customer who does that, and he said that um, they'll usually call the customer and make a follow-up call after they send the email, and the call will go to voicemail, and then 5 minutes later they check and look, and they've gone in and paid. So their customers are using it as a way to avoid actually having a conversation with them.
And I'm not seeing any more questions, and we do have some time to spare. So if you do have any more questions, we'd love to answer them. Oh, I've got one more question. So Ricky's typing in a new question. Thank you, Ricky.
Yeah, and while he's typing that, just so everyone knows, I do encourage you to go onto our Anytime Collect website. We have a free instant membership. All you have to do is create one username and password, and you can keep going into our site and find all of our white papers and videos that give tons of really good information on how to craft your collection emails, collection letters, call scripts.
And different tips for reducing your day sales outstanding.
Yeah,
In addition, so much in addition just to the emails, right?
correct. Yeah.
What is more important to keep following them on their phone or email? So what do you find more effective, Lindsay, is as a whole? People calling on the phone or email communications?
It depends really what part of this cycle they are in. If they are past due a certain date, like if they're past due by, 90 days, 120 days, that's really when you need to be picking up the phone and giving a phone call. But the emails are really good for those people that either aren't due yet or they're just a couple days past due. They're just, 30 days or less because then they can get that email. You can give them that first push, and then what's left over is the stragglers that didn't respond to your email, that didn't take action on your email. And that's one of the really great things that Anytime Collect does is it puts those people into buckets for you so that it's prioritizing who should you call first and letting you know who needs to be called, and then you can just send out emails to the rest of them.
And then, okay, so Jeffrey has another question. Okay, one more. Can you create an email within Anytime Collect to send to someone in-house with customer account information, such as a dispute alert or a write-off alert, etc.?
Yeah, we have a lot of internal alerts that can be set up, and it's really simple to do. You simply put a filter on all of the accounts based on whatever data you want to be pulling, whether that's people that are past due. You can do credit alerts if someone's credit report drops below a certain point that you don't want to be doing business with them or anymore, or you're worried about them. You can send alerts to your internal people for that type of thing. Really, any type of data that you have in the system, you can send internal alerts, and it can go to their email address, and it can also pop up for them in the Anytime Collect screen when they log in.
And so just a curiosity, what if a customer is using something like QuickBooks or Sage and they want to offer a payment link to pay by credit card or maybe debit card? Would they use like Intuit Bill Pay or Sage Payment Solutions, their own internal merchant services account? How does that work?
We have a bunch of different options. We have customers that are using Sage Payments, and then we also currently offer um, with one of our partners, they're called SoluPay, and they are a merchant service that integrates with with Anytime Collect, and they create a personalized payment page that has your branding on it and everything, and they do a really great job to keep the costs low for a bunch of our customers. But we also have the ability to allow you to use whatever merchant service that you are currently using. We have customers that come to us with different banks that they're currently using, and as long as there's an API available, we can set that up for you.
Like a click to pay kind of a
Mm-hmm.
feature.
Yep, and it just pops up it directs them to that payment page, and then once that payment is made, it directs them back to Anytime Collect, and then you'll see it posted in Anytime Collect.
Perfect. So they could be using American Payment Solutions or Sage Payment Services, SoluPay,
Yeah.
any of their own internal
Yep.
merchant services. Perfect. Okay, so we do have another question. It looks like Ricky did expand on his last question. So let me see if I can pull that up again. His last question, just a reference. Okay, so what is more important, following up by phone or email? And then he says sending an email, or we can just send the email with the email ID, which we get with debt files, question mark. Does that make sense, Lindsay?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay, so you'll get that question in the report. Lindsay will call you and follow up and make sure that she
Absolutely.
answers it clearly. And then Jeffrey, thank you so much. Sage Payments is setting us up for ACH and credit cards when we purchase AC. So perfect, that should work fine.
Yep, our customers use credit cards, they use ACH, whatever is your preference. And you can limit it too as well. So if you only want them to use ACH, we can limit it for that as well.
And it looks like Omar has a question. Is there a trigger or queue for short pays? So if somebody doesn't pay the entire balance, Lindsay?
Oh, yeah, they can actually, in the payment portal, there's an option where the customer can pay, say they want to pay half now. Like you make payment terms where they can pay half now, and then they promise to pay the other half in the next week. When they make that payment, Anytime Collect will recognize that, and it will break the payment up and show you then what is left over and what they still owe you and when they owe you that amount.
Perfect. And then to elaborate on that question too, can we push invoices to an internal unresolved queue?
Yeah, it all depends on when you're talking about an internal queue. Are you talking about like through your ERP system, like pushing it back?
And that might be something for our conversation, Lindsay. So we
Yeah.
should maybe table that. And Omar, we'll get back to you and make sure we answer that clearly.
Yeah, I'm sure that if that is what you're talking about, that is definitely possible, and we have people doing that.
And so I don't see any other questions, and we do have 97% of you who have voted. Thank you so much. So I'm going to close out that poll. And I'm going to share the results. So 71% are interested in learning more and 29% not at this time. So with that, thank you so much, Lindsay. Very informative. I love these short educational webinars. They're awesome for our business
Right, and thank you
process
everyone for the
automation.
questions. Those were some really great questions that we had today.
And you'll get all of those, so when you follow up with them, you can talk about the questions too, Lindsay. And we did record this, and we will be posting this to our ERPVAR YouTube channel. That's at youtube.com/ERPVAR. And we have lots of informative webinars that we've recorded that are posted up there, and we just invite you to take a look at them. And we hope to see you on a future webinar. Thank you, everybody, so much for taking time out of your busy day. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.